Yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome to the 47th episode of ML Backstage. My name is Mars Luna,
And I'm Ethan.
and we're introducing this podcast straight from the sixth dimension. This is a music commentary podcast hosted by Holokahiki Toves, Kainalu Kamai, and Joshua today. We're going to be talking about my first final Voyage single, Roller Coaster, and I know this episode is going to be wicked. The emoji equation of sparkles plus starry eyes equal red flags, Ethan. Earthlings, grab your popcorn and let's get started. Back to planet Earth we go!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 47 of the ML Backstage podcast. My name is Joshua Luna, and I'm here with my OG co-host, Kainalu Kamai, and Holokahiki Toves, who just came from the
Hey,
beach. You know what I'm saying? Got the boulder shoulders rocking right now. You know what I'm saying?
you
Keeping it
crazy.
humble right now. You know what I'm saying? Save some guns for the rest of us. You feel me? But anyway, how have you guys been? How's the new year been for you guys? Let's start with Kainalu.
Oh, sheesh, on the spotlight. All right.
How's
Uh,
everything been for you, bro?
well, so far this beginning of the year has been going up. That's good, positive. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of more opportunities on the DJing side. So I'm actually making more of a comeback with my DJing.
Oh,
And then
what's the DJ name? DJ name, bro?
Stranded Pineapple.
Ooh, shout out to SpongeBob.
Oh, there you Had that
Oh.
name since 2016. Not gonna change it at all.
Go out.
So you'll see me a lot at was it Proof Social or Next Door with open deck night for DJing, and then looked like we were gonna get more events to play, and hopefully I could just start coming out again and just do my thing.
Do you are the do you get booked for those DJ sets, or is it kind of like an open
No,
mic setup?
it's like an open mic, like first come first serve,
Oh, for sure, for sure.
but usually it's always the same people that come by. But it's good to get your stuff out, especially for all the beginner DJs. That's something we want them to try come out to.
Mm-hmm. Roger that, boy. Holokahiki Toves, I see that
Yeah.
you're in the Aina right now. You're with
Oh
family
yeah,
right
yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. I'm back
When'd you get
home.
back home?
I got back home on 3 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 days ago. It is Friday. I got in on Tuesday. Yeah, just getting back home, trying to be grounded again.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I visited was in July.
That's right. Yep. And
Yeah.
if you're
Oh,
watching on YouTube, um, if you see Holo's background right now, that is where we recorded episode let me check the number. Episode 40 live. You can check that out. Shameless plug. You know what I'm saying? That's when I was home for my grandpa's passing. Holo has the
mm,
same background going on. So it's funny that you're back home because I was back home last month
yeah, yeah,
and I was kind of doing the same thing you were doing, spending time with family. Like I couldn't ha I tried hanging out with Kainalu. I tried. But
Yeah,
then
it was kind
but
of different
you
timing.
were still moving you're moving to how was that process? How was that process like, by the way?
That's good now. It's
Good
perfect.
now? Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, all right, it's good.
It's all right. It's all good now. All good now, bro. All good. All good. And you moved from Wahiwa Heights all the way down to um
Lower Wahoo.
Lower Waiwa. Okay.
Pretty
Oh
like
no!
way in the bottom.
By the
Oh, by
that
by
one
the
elementary
elementary
school.
school?
Like past Kaala, right by the lake,
Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
where I used
Oh,
to
the
live before.
boonies.
That's okay. I remember that house. I
Oh, okay,
remember that
okay,
place.
okay. I
I
remember.
remember. Mm. So yeah, that's yeah, I was back home. I thought about filming the podcast, well, for January podcast back home, but I didn't know if I had the time to do it, and also, um, it was an SOS episode last month with the whole Mars and Luna Swan year type thing, but Uh, you know, so I would probably say that, this past month, well, if you don't mind my voice, by the way, for those who are listening, I caught I caught the cold last week and I just recovered and everything's good now, but I'm just not used to talking this much. So please forgive me if I stuff a cough drop in my mouth or whatever. Um, I was trying really hard to get better because my mom was gonna come over. She was gonna fly over, and she's here now in Vegas.
Okay.
She came here to celebrate my birthday, which was yesterday. Um,
Eh,
it was and happy Valentine's, by the way, to those who
Mm.
celebrate, or for Hawaii folks, happy Captain Cook getting, what I'm saying,
Demolished.
getting offed day, you know what I'm saying? More accurately put for the Hawaiians out there. Um,
yes, huh?
and you know, I'm starting to get back into Legos. Like Legos was like my thing when I was a kid. So um trying to like stimulate my, building stuff again. I didn't realize that they have pieces now for people for like 18 plus now. So I got this free. I got this rainforest thing free yesterday. Got this. This was free.
Wait, they like added on to your original order, or they
Yep.
just gave it to
They
you?
added to my original.
Oh,
Because
Nice.
there's a new Lego store now in the Summerlin area. Um, so it was like, okay. My mom said I should simulate my building skills again. So I was like, okay.
mm,
So got this
that's cool.
I got this little orchid here.
Ooh,
My
Nice.
mom wanted this actually. So
that was
my goal is to
nice.
finish this by Mother's Day
Uh,
and also these botanical bamboo,
Oh, nice. Ooh, that was nice.
the bamboo here. I didn't know that they have all these like little pieces, these big pieces now, which is pretty cool. Got this money cat. This is the first one I'm actually going to start building. And uh, you know, gotta honor the ancestors with the panda. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the panda.
Right on.
So that's my little set. Yesterday for my birthday, my mom and I went to Mandalay Bay. We did all the bougie stuff, did all the touristy stuff. Um, I wanted to go to this golf place called Swingers, which is kind of like a themed like Great Gatsby themed mini golf place, which I wanted to check
Mm.
out. And I had a hole in one, which was pretty cool. And then we ate at this place called Karama. And I want to give a shout out. I already told Kainalu this um, off air, but shout out to the hostess, gorgeous Wahine that saw me
Oh yes, sir.
take a photo um,
Okay, okay.
by this
Okay, 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 okay,
heart
okay.
the heart installation for Valentine's Day. She saw me do this.
Mm, mm.
I was just messing around with my mom, you know what I'm saying? Because she wanted to take a photo or whatever. I'll post the picture right here and I'll show the boys right here, you know what I'm saying? Got this little thing.
Oh yes, sir.
Heart installation. The hostess was like, "Oh, is that a Frank Ocean thing that you did with the hand?" I'm like,
Oh heck yeah.
and I wasn't even thinking about it at the time. It was like really late. And then I looked up and I was like, "Oh, dang. Okay. Small kind gorgeous, you know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff."
There you go. So
But my mom wasn't but my mom, I was with my mom, so I couldn't really do nothing. And
oh
then
shoot.
but it's all good. And then
Well, you know where she at now.
Yep. She was I from what I understand, like she was kind of like she had like, long curly hair. I think she was like light skinned or something like that, but I'm not entirely
Oh,
sure.
let's go. Let's
But
go.
oh,
she was like around our age too, so I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
okay." I wasn't even paying attention, but sometimes you just got to be aware at all times, you feel me?
like,
Um,
here's my latest track, Roller Coaster. You should take a listen.
oh, speaking of which, you know what I'm saying? This episode is about the first Mars Luna single of the year, first single of Final Voyage called Roller Coaster. And normally I would recap the songs, but I'm not gonna do that today. So what I'm gonna because today we're gonna introduce a special section or segment for today called Mo'olelo Time with Holokahiki Toves. So
Brother.
if for those who don't know, Mo'olelo means talk story. So tell your story, King. Go off.
Oh, just like that. You started it like that.
I'll feed off of it. I'll feed
Yeah,
off of
yeah,
it for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Because it's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot going on. So, and I know you was the first one that I talked to right after the photo shoot. So
I'll say
you
summer.
probably
I'll say this. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
no worries.
Summer 2019 was wicked.
Yeah,
Continue.
it was wicked.
Continue.
Okay, so how did it start off? So I DM'd this girl
Mhm.
on Instagram, and she was like Japanese mixed with a little bit of Caucasian.
Mhm.
And I was, back then it was more like, oh, she's attractive.
Mhm.
And I was really like gun ho going into my photography business.
Yes.
I was like, oh, let me try, hit her up to see, if she's coming back home or we should get a photo shoot together.
Where was she based in?
She was based in Cali.
Okay.
To be more specific, she was based in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started talking like DMs, kind of like light banter, small talk, react to the stories, react to the posts.
Mhm.
And then whenever I would post on the story, react to a story, like comment, or I think it was mostly stories, not the posts. Comment on the stories. We will go, I would say something, she would react to it, and then I would say something again, and then she would react to sparkle emojis, and the two eyes emojis, kind of like
the starry eye emoji.
Yeah. So that was that going on for me, and at that point when I kept getting it consistently through the stories and the posts, I was like, okay, there's like something going on here, like, but it was like totally not hitting me to a point where she was just, how would I say, in a respectful way, just showing, I guess, genuine interest to how I'm reacting. But I was thinking like, oh man, like I'm in there, like I got this like connection.
Yeah.
So we're getting closer to, I think it was like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know when was the photo shoot, like I forget.
It was in the summer. That's all I remember.
In the summer.
It was like July or August. I don't remember because it was when I was. No, July. It was July.
It was July.
It was July 2019.
March, April, May. I think during May and June she started like hinting that she was going back home, and then that was my point to shoot her a DM and saying, "Oh, we should get a photo shoot together." And then at that point, I was like doing all these photo shoots, and I was trying to get her to be in that rotation.
Yep.
So I got a photo shoot with her. It's coming from San Diego, flying into Hawaii. We set it up. I was like, oh, we should do a beach one. We should go to this beach on the east side. Oh, where we should meet up. And I insisted, oh, let me pick you up at your house, right? I said, oh, we're doing a morning shoot.
Yeah.
And it's funny that we both agreed to for her to get picked up at like 5 in the morning, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think now I'll be doing that. I'll be like,
No,
it'll be like
not at
late
all.
morning right now, right?
Not at all.
So I was like, oh, I'm in. Let me,
Yeah.
pick her up 5 in the morning, and then from where she lived, it was more like central area. We had to shoot it all the way down to east side, which is like
Yep.
30-40 minutes.
Yeah, that's around there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So during that time, I was, we were getting to know each other.
Mhm.
And I remember we was on the freeway. We was on H2. I think it was H2.
H2, yeah.
Yeah, it was on H2. And then she started vaping in the car. Started.
That was that girl.
Yeah, Nalu,
brought out these little like shot glasses. And I remember there was one that was blue, and she took it out. And I'm driving, and I'm like, what the heck? Takes it out, and she's like, I need my energy.
Right.
And she opens it, and she's like, what the heck? And me, I'm trying to be professional. I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to put her on the spot, but at that point, that was like the first red flag.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first red flag. And then the second red flag was the actual vaping in the car. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we go on to the east side.
That was wild.
And we go to the east side. We go to the first spot. And I remember her, she takes the shots with her to the spot of the beach. And I was trying to figure out the area. And then she goes and she's like, oh, let me take another hit. And then she takes another shot. I'm like, this is wild. We do our thing, we vaping in between, the photo shoot. We go to another spot. I think it was the same spot. And then I did a video because I'm trying to do this. At that time, I was trying to do like a compilation.
Compilation, yeah.
Yeah. And then I asked her, it's like I forget what was the question, but it was like, describe yourself in like three words.
In 3 words.
In 3 words.
I have a reference too, so it's
in 3 words, describe yourself, and she described herself as dangerous, risky, and a liability.
Oh yeah.
That was the third.
Oh, yeah.
That was the third red flag. And by that time, I had like sparkles and starry eyes. I was like, I didn't even see it.
It was blinded. It happens.
For real, I was mad blind. Mm-hmm. And then we went to this other spot that she said that's clearly like her secret spot. We went to that spot.
Secret spot.
Yeah, we did it. I think Kainalu knows the spot. It's it's on the east side, but you have to go through like this neighborhood, and it's like it goes down like a slope. It's almost near. It's way before Spitting Caves. Yeah, I think you know. Yeah. I think you know. You took some photos over there too, and I think we went there too one time.
We did. Yeah.
Cockroach Cove.
Take
Is it that one?
Oh, it's Cockroach Cove. I think it's before Cockroach. Yeah, it's way before Cockroach Cove.
Hawaii Kai
it's
side.
It's like Hawaii Kai. It's like before Hawaii Kai.
Okay.
So we go there. We take more take more photos, and she was like, "Oh, let me bring out like her." She had a sponsor, and I was like, "Okay, we'll just do like some sponsor shots." And I actually got through to the sponsor. They post the photo up on their Instagram, and they follow me, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, we was done. It was about like 3-4 o'clock. going home, go drop her off at her house. And then when I dropped her off, I didn't even notice that the father was outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I drop her off, and then the dad is outside, and I was like, oh, what the heck? And then she tells me, oh, I had a good time today. Can't wait to see the photos. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then at that point, I was like, okay, let me shoot my shot. Fucking crazy. I don't know why I thought about doing that. It's like I'm talking to her, and then she looks at the dad, and then they start talking in Japanese. At that point, I'm like, okay, they're talking a different language. They're talking about me, right? So I'm waiting there. I'm like an idol. I'm like, okay, is anybody gonna tell me something? And then he says something to her. She looks over to me. He looks over to me, and I know they're talking about me. And then he flips the switch and tells the girl, why don't you have a boyfriend yet? And then I'm there like, oh, what the heck going on? Like, he says, why you don't have a boyfriend yet? And then he says something in Japanese. And then the guy, I remember the dad was like, kind of implying like, so who's he? Like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, oh, this is awkward. Like, you know, hella awkward. And then she was getting awkward. And at that point, I went up to her and I shoot my shot. And she was like, she like really like was not like panicked, but I think she didn't expect it.
Right.
So she kind of like was like, oh, but I don't feel that way. And she was kind of getting defensive. And at that point, I was like, oh, all these things that happened before was kind of like misleading. But then again, I took it as infatuation and didn't see the clear signs telling me, stop, don't do it. Don't do it. But I didn't even listen. Did it anyway. She backed off. And I remember going in my car, and I was like, I had this like stomach feeling, I remember. And then I put my phone, and I remember the first song that came on. I always remember it. It was Maoli, Breaking My Heart. And I remember looking in the rearview mirror, and I was like,
oh man, that was the song that first came into the car. It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. I look in the rearview mirror, and I was like, it's the last time I'm gonna be doing this. And what I did, I got onto the freeway. I was almost to Milani. Boom! I called up the boy Luna, and I was like, Luna, I gotta tell you what's going on. What you doing? Like SOS. Like,
I was doing laundry at the time. That was probably like 8 o'clock or something in the morning, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how far you were. I don't know how far you are into the story, but I want you to finish before I say my part.
Yeah. So after I dropped her off, I was like, okay, what am I feeling? I'm trying to figure it out, and I was like, so I was talking to myself, like I was really putting myself to the ground. I was like, okay, I need somebody who's gonna like be real with me, logical, put me in my place, you know, tell me what it is. I called out the boy Luna. He was at home, so I was like, oh Luna, I'm gonna shoot. I want to go up there. I want to go up to your house. I'm gonna swing by. I gotta let you know what happened to this during this photo shoot. And I got up there. From the time I got there, I remember I was walking up, and he really could feel how I was. And when I started talking, he really knew I was like real down and out.
You were as dejected as I'd ever seen you.
Yeah, it was bad. You're the one who saw me like I was bad down. And I remember I think I was sitting on the ground in the garage, and I was like, what is going on? And I told him what happened. He's like, and he was real with me. He told me, it's like, that was the signs, man. Like you didn't listen to the signs, but you just did it anyway. And I was like, oh, should I call her? I called her and I was trying to text her.
Yeah. Oh
She
yeah, that's
wasn't,
right.
she, yeah,
That's right.
she wasn't picking up.
Hmm.
And I text her and she said like trying to like figure out like where we are. And she said something like, there's nothing to talk about.
Dang.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
And then at that point I was like, frick this.
Mm.
And yeah, that was about it. And at that point, that was like the turning point. Like, pivot 90-degree, 180-degree, like completely changed everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember.
Then,
oh, go ahead.
Oh no. It's right. And I was gonna say, and then you got this song coming out.
Yep.
Yeah, reflecting, the whole situation.
Yeah. So this was probably like maybe a 3-month period, right? Of you and this girl like conversing through DMs and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
2 or 3 months around there.
Yeah.
And during this time, this was in the summer of 2019, and Kainalu was already in deployment at that time, but he still had he still had the gist of what was going on here. I remember that like this specific day very clearly because it was at the very end of July 2019. I was looking, while you were telling the story, I was looking through like my voice memos and stuff like that, because I came up with the song Roller Coaster within the same day or like the following day. All right, so I remember this very, very clearly.
Get more. It's good, yeah.
Very clearly. It was it was at the end of July. And I was, like Holo told me the entire process of like, okay, he was very smitten with this girl. He was, looking back, it was very much infatuation and not really, what I'm saying, there wasn't like any real clear direction of what, besides like the photo shoot. And I think looking back at it, like she was like, she was, in the end of the day, she wasn't worth Holo's time anyway. Thinking about it. And he told me all the information. Like I never, like Holo, to anyone who knows Holo in person, like you'll never see him without a smile on his face. And this was the first time in my, at the time, like decade or something of knowing him, that he was like really dejected. Like he was down in the dumps. So I was like, okay, process the information, what I'm saying, what happened, like I thought it was gonna be like a whole day adventure type thing. And I was excited, I was excited for him at the time. And he told me like everything with all the details and stuff like that. And like what was the totality of the experience like take away like all the feelings and all that stuff that happened, like why are you, like I was kind of like, why are you feeling this way, like what happened that made you feel, what I'm saying, like what made you feel. And I kind of came to the conclusion that like, okay, like first of all, this girl was crazy. She was insane. What I'm saying? Like, and with people like that, I don't mean this in any kind of disrespect, but like those, I guess like influencer types, I suppose. Sometimes they're, people can get caught up in their own little world, and she saw it as kind of like a business opportunity for her. And Holo saw it as something more. So it's just kind of like, okay, he told me all the details. And I was like, dang, I never that's a very crazy detail right now that you're giving me right now. And I was like, ooh, it's I mean, it was like I hate that you're feeling this way, but in the long term, like it's for the best that it didn't work out.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And he saw it, like, he Holo knew better. He learned from it, and I came up with, I kind of let Holo sit with his experiences and stuff like that. And on July 27th, 2019, I came up with the first draft of Roller Coaster. And like he told me like the details of like, okay, picking the girl up at 5 a.m. Right? You picked her up from her house, right? You said.
Yeah, from their house, yeah.
I mean, in the song it says airport, but I added it for a more dramatic effect or whatever. And you drank endless shots of vodka in my car, which was a memory I try to picture, right? It's like hung out at the beach, which you went to the beach, and you also told me that she was talking about her exes the whole time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then
She's talking about it the whole time.
the whole time I was like, okay, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
there was so much red flags.
and then that's what the whole theme of Roller Coaster is. I should have seen the red flags.
Yeah.
It's once you're, I call it like the volatility of infatuation. Like that's kind of what Roller Coaster was. And you thought you were the one when you texted me all the sparkles and starry eyes. And Holo told me she sent me she sent him a bunch of sparkles and starry eyes and all that stuff to kind of like lure you in or whatever. But like, and Holo wanted to give her the world, but she wasn't real, what I'm saying, wasn't that. And then basically the stars didn't align, whatever. Should have seen the red flags. I'm saying, should have seen the red flags. And then you told me the story about her dad and all that kind of stuff. Just all those details that you told me about. I was like, oh, I could come up with something really fast. And then, the details were too spicy to not come up with anything. You know what I mean? And then I sent Holo the first draft of the song. And then and shout out to your mom too. You told me that you showed the first draft to your mom, and she told me you should change the last chorus to like I found a special someone who's better for me.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, better than you, sorry. Better than you. Because during the first chorus, it was like, I found, you set me up for someone better for me. And then, in the end of it becomes pettier when you said, my eyes are set on someone who's better than you. I was like,
dude, that sounds like my mom.
So I was like, so shout out to Auntie one time, you know what I mean?
Shout out.
And then, I mean, like, that was like, I feel like that was kind of like an Icarus season for you, for Holo. It was kind of like, you were flying a little bit too close to the sun, a little bit. And then like
a lot of it.
if you actually want to see this season of Holo's life recapped, he actually posted a video of it on YouTube.
Oh shoot.
Levels of cringe exceeded. Go check that out.
Oh,
I'll say this:
geez.
those outfits at the time were money.
Oh yeah.
They were money at the time.
Yeah, that was some crazy bell bottoms.
It was crazy work, but hey, it's you at least have something to immortalize that season and time of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to talk about summer 2019 to winter 2019 though, because I came back during the winter of 2019. Nalu was still in deployment at the time, and he didn't come back till like early 2020. And Nalu, your presence was missed during that time, especially because
Oh yeah,
I noticed that there
a
was a
lot.
certain
It's okay. I
change.
was there in spirit.
Yeah, you were there in spirit. I remember that. We FaceTimed a lot. But so we had these little these backdrops and stuff during we set up like a whole green screen station in the garage in my mom's garage. And you know, kind of like looking back at it, I he had like he brought a yellow and blue um backdrop to the house.
Mm.
And I'm trying to remember this part very clearly. I know Holo had some outfits and stuff, and I was like, I think I told Holo to, you know, just to kind of get his mind off of stuff, and I was like, okay, I need you to do this, to do these little poses or whatever, because I was trying to create a meme in my head at the time, and basically, hold up, I'm going to find it real fast. Um, it's one of my favorite works I've ever made.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I already know which one it is, man.
it's like a left and right juxtaposition. I saw that Holo had a baseball bat in his car. I was like, oh, I could definitely use this.
I don't know
I could
why I put
definitely
my
use
baseball
this.
in my car.
And it was like it was like left when she sends you the starry eyes and sparkle emojis. And this was like Holo smiling. And in the right, juxtaposed next to it, when you catch her drinking and vaping in your car.
I don't
And I'm like
remember that
holding
one.
it like,
For the YouTube viewers,
I
here's the
remember
meme.
that one.
Here's the meme. I'll also post a picture on here. You
oh,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
Classic.
wild.
It's it's one of my most favorite works I've ever made. I
Yeah,
was
and
so
I
proud.
feel I feel like it resurfaces now and then.
Yeah,
Kind of is like a reminder for me, like this is what happens.
that's what happens, bro.
Don't do this.
But it's all good. It's all good. Shout out to her. I don't know where you are right now, but hopefully you're doing better for yourself. You feel me?
Yeah,
Um,
she's all right. She's all right.
yeah, she's all right. But so, I remember. So I remember like shortly after after that time of Holo's life, there was like a huge pivot, uh, one of the hugest pivots I've ever seen. Like you went cold turkey on social media.
Yeah,
You went vegan for like a whole year or something like that. Like immediately after. But I could,
yeah,
but I and he was also he. I don't mean to put business out there. This is in the past, but there was like there was a one of the homegirls. She was a part of the Take It Slow video back in
yeah,
2016.
yeah.
She shot some photos. We shot some photos with her in the same summer, like right before the photo shoot with the other girl, actually. And I think he was trying, like, from my understanding of it at the time, winter 2019 was a pivot from the summer. But I could tell that, Holo was clearly trying to process some things in his mind. And we had um, one more like backdrop that we were trying to take pictures of because this was around the time where we were shooting Rocket Science, the cover
Mm,
for Rocket Science, and
yeah, yeah.
winter. And shout out to Rocket Science, 5 years today. You know what I'm saying? Use that song to shoot your shot. You feel me? But I remember there was a period that Holo and I didn't talk because he was trying to
Oh
shoot a
yeah.
shot at the girl
So bad, man.
at our mutual friend. But I was like,
Stupid.
no, it's all good. It's all good. No, but he thought that I was trying to shoot my shot
Yeah,
with our
it was
mutual friend
so
too.
bad. It was
But
so
I
bad.
wasn't. I really wasn't. I knew that that our mutual friend saw me as just a friend, and she saw him, Holo, as just a friend as well. But that
Mm.
those are kind of like, perils of infatuation, right? Like peril of like things that like, oh man, like this is what happens when you're because I've gone through, stages like that as well, but it was just kind of like, oh wait, do I really envision a future with this person or
Hmm.
do I just want to rebound, you
Ah.
know? And
Yeah, I didn't have
and
that skill.
that's all good. But we were young back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, how would you feel, Holo? What was the difference between how did summer 2019 and winter 2019 feel like for you?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I just remember I was just at that point, I was finding myself again
Mm,
and thinking like kind of stripping myself down.
yep.
And I think that's why going back to what you said, going cold turkey on social media
Hmm.
and doing something that I'm not really comfortable doing. But then
Hmm.
again, to be honest with myself and with you guys, going vegan wasn't 100% on my choice.
Right.
It was to kind of, then again, it's
It's,
years ago, but
yep.
being trying to
2019.
get the attention of our mutual friend
Yep.
who was vegan or probably is still vegan at
Probably,
that time.
probably, yeah.
And I was just interested in her. I wanted to understand more of her perspective. So I decided to
Hmm.
just try to go vegan.
Yep.
And at that point, I was talking to her. We had common interests.
Yep.
It feels like I was making it a common interest because I wanted to be vegan. I
Right.
wanted to be vegan,
Yep.
but it became to a point where we talking about the diet, and then
Hmm.
it broke off.
Yep.
And I just told myself, just keep going and try the diet.
Right. Right.
And there's like a ton of silver linings from that.
Hmm.
And I still have that, in the back of my mind and the skill set
Hmm.
from that time. So sometimes I think you guys would know. Sometimes I would back off social media, kind of
Yep.
go back on it, and then for my diet, it helps me out
Hmm.
now more than ever. It helps me cook. So
Right.
there's like silver linings from there.
For sure.
Um, but thinking about it, it was actually a time where I was figuring out my identity. Yeah,
Hmm.
Ah,
yeah, my
makes
identity
sense.
again.
Yeah,
I just gotta say, yeah.
for sure. For sure. And now, with and now you're super jacked. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hey,
and
hey,
it's a different diet for you. It's a different lifestyle for you. You know what I'm saying?
gotta keep up
It,
with those Atlanta peaches. You know what I'm saying?
and shout out to the Latina trying to go for the same machine. But anyway.
Oh, oh yes. Do I hear another song?
Well, I don't know enough information about that yet. So we'll just have to see how things
Yeah,
progress.
yeah. I'll let you guys know.
Nah, for sure. But, cheers to lessons learned, you know what I'm saying? Cheers to growth.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Real tangible growth because, you don't want to get caught in and I'm not saying this, I'm just saying this for all of us. Like we don't want to get caught in the same traps,
Mhm.
and it's it's okay to kind of, go through stuff, but as long as you learn from your lessons genuinely and wanted to be a better person and not just for your loved ones, but also for yourself too, right?
Mm,
And that's real growth. And it's like what kind of people who are meant for you and people who you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
Next,
yeah.
thank you.
Next.
Next, you know what I'm saying. So let's let's go. I want so going off of Holo's story and going off of the information that I knew from that, um, I want to talk about the differences between love versus infatuation versus lust. And, you know, Holo, I remember you posted something on TikTok when you still had it. It was
Oh
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
saying like, love is patient, lust rushes,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And it was like a video you were throwing wood into the fire or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like, you know,
I was like, oh, let me do a
but
video outside or something.
it reminded me of this scripture from the Bible. It's a classic like love scriptures. You hear this in like weddings and stuff like that. Um,
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
it's 1 Corinthians 13 verses 4 through 7. So like love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude.
Mm,
It does not
yeah.
insist in its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things. Love believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And love never ends. So if you take that
Amen.
these verses apart and say that love is patient and kind, lust is the opposite of that, right? Lust is impatient. Lust is selfish. Lust is arrogant and rude, and it insists on its own way. I would also put infatuation in that same category
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
you know, infatuation is impatient. You know what I'm saying? Infatuation is selfish. So I think there's different levels to those three, like love and infatuation and lust, right? But it all it's the balance of two opposites, right? And I'll also go through Proverbs verses chapter 5 verses 15 through 19. Oh, this one? Oh no, no, wrong one. Sorry. Um, so 1 second. Trying to find the right one. The right. Oh, here we go. Proverbs 27:12. The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. Um, but basically, these are kind of like scriptures that kind of support the First Corinthians 13. Um, and basically, when you think of like loving someone, or you think of like you know think of someone that you may be interested in, as someone that you may want to get to know better, as like as Holo said earlier. Um, what like are I think the key thing is do you want something out of this relationship? Infatuation and lust can become transactional because you want to extract something out of, you know, out of the person that you're trying to see. But love is with love, you're trying to build a future. You're trying to, you want to grow along with them. You want to nurture their growth. You want, and you want to grow alongside them as well, right? So with every season of life, um, I've said this before, like you want to find someone that you can navigate through all the seasons with and grow with and, you know, help each other grow, and nurture each other instead of like trying to get something out of this person, just trying to get some action or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it just like that whole experience and roller coaster itself really made me think about the differences between those three things. Um, and before we get to the next segment, um, as some people know, I every time we do these podcasts, I edit them right away, and I have a really quick turnaround time with these because I don't want to like uh, hog up all the Zoom footage on the computer, right? So I get through all my editing times through the unofficial sponsor of the ML Backstage podcast, Celsius. And today I have a watermelon flavor today. Essential energy, accelerates metabolism, burns body fat, and it gives me enough energy to get through these editing times. You feel me? I normally get through probably past midnight when when I'm done editing them.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
but it's all good because it's like 9:30 right now, and yeah, go get yourself some energy at at your local Target, your local Smith's, your local grocery store, whatever. Kainalu sent us a picture of the Hammer
Oh,
Celsius, the
Oh
giant
wow,
oh,
it's big. Like, what is this, man?
the
God,
giant ones,
big.
the big ones. You know what I'm saying? But go cop yourself one if you're looking for some quick energy. You feel me? Um, so leading into the next segment, which I consider to be the meat of the ML Backstage podcast episode. Um, I usually try to, you know, close off the podcast episode with a question that relates to the song, the album, the project's theme, or underlying message in a funny way, a general way, a philosophical way. You know what I'm saying? Just something that connects the song or the album's or EP central theme. So with Roller Coaster, since we're talking about love and infatuation and lust, my question, my question to everyone listening and to Holo and Kainalu here is, can infatuation and lust turn into love? And my quick answer is no. I personally have never seen that happen because, like I said, um, if you're infatuated with someone or you're lusting over someone, you usually want something out of them instead of wanting to be with them and grow with them. And usually people who people who are infatuated or, lusting over someone, they usually look for love in the wrong places. So it's like you either trying to find, find some girl at the club, you know what I'm saying? Or like um trying to find or like through dating sites or something. You know what I mean? I'm just like listing off like random references that you may,
Mm,
things that are outlets that could potentially lead you into trouble. Um, but usually like conversations with someone you're infatuated with or lusting over aren't necessarily healthy conversations of the opposite gender to begin with anyways. And sometimes it's really easy for me personally to um to know whether I'm infatuated with someone, lusting over someone because I don't necessarily see a future with someone I'm infatuated with or lusting over. It's usually something that's quick. You know what I mean? You want something quick out of them because, like I said, infatuation and lust are impatient. Well, love is patient, right? And that's my quick answer. My quick answer is I've never seen um, infatuation and lust turn into love before. Uh, let's go with Kainalu.
Oh, all right, me, I guess.
Talking
Uh,
about looking for rave bait and a liability. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeesh. That's technically I would not go for that, but anyways, to answer that question,
I was just
I
going off of that because you we told this whole story and Nalu's like the guy that's like, I'll take one for the team. You
Oh,
know,
brother.
I just I'll just look for my rave bay and then I'll just say like or a liability, whichever one comes first. But
I
I'm
think I'm
just
more of a
but
liability.
but I'm just messing around. Go ahead, Nalu.
Okay, I guess to answer that question, I would agree with what Luna says. And in my case, I think for me, it's probably a 90% chance of leading into bad territories or situation, but it is possible for love to actually happen. I would see it as the best mistake or bad mistake,
Mm,
depending on how the outcome is. But
mm,
some people like to be risk takers, me included, but sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's all more, do you really want to go down that path or do you really want to choose that person? And do you really want to keep going or do you want to back off? But for me, I try to stay away from the danger zone, even though I like dangerous things.
mm.
But yeah, I think it's kind of more of slightly impossible to find true love from getting into those situations. It'll be love, but it won't be something you probably would like, or maybe the other person might not like. So it might have different outcomes towards the end. But that's all I could think of. I don't really dwell in that side of the spectrum to know what goes on.
You
I've
you
seen
just
it though.
you just mind your business and
Yeah.
hopefully Rave Bay or a liability comes your way.
That's a proper liability, maybe.
Proper liability comes with terms and conditions.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Very, very fascinating perspective to really think about. But Holo, do you think that infatuation and lust can turn into love?
I think so.
Mm,
I think it can turn into love. It's just the other person has to communicate what is the expectations.
mm,
But then again, going through that whole process from infatuation and lust turning into love, you're going in a mindset with bad intention.
right.
And even though you do get into a relationship and, fall into love, it's not going to be for the best,
Hmm.
and it is not going to be, I would say, it's not going to lead to like a genuine relationship between you two. It's always going to
Mm,
be falling on infatuation or lust.
hmm.
So it's possible, but it is not the route I recommend going down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I think like I was thinking through you guys' answers, the one exception I do think about is probably when like say, and again, like you said, Holo, I wouldn't recommend going down this path, but like if say, you know, a high school relationship, guy gets a girl pregnant, um, obviously how do you get to that situation in the first place, right? Lust. You don't really do that because you love someone. That's an irresponsible decision, right?
Mhm.
But there are some situations where, you know, the kid could really make them bond together. But again, but it's also tricky waters too. So I do see that as some kind of exception, but like it's not necessarily like you said, Holo, infatuation and lust leads, stems from bad intentions to begin with. So, don't play yourself out here, kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember working one of my earlier jobs, and this was like I want to say she was like a late 30s, 40s coworker,
Hmm.
and she told me on the side because one of my coworkers, my two coworkers was like fooling around,
Uh-huh.
and she was near me, and then they were like laughing
Hmm.
by themselves. Do you know what they do? And then she looked at me and she was like, "Holo, don't put it in. Once you put it in, it's over." And I was like, "Whoa,
Very straightforward advice, bruh.
straightforward. Like, don't do it because you'll be stopped."
Mm,
So I was like, I have her voice in my head sometimes.
that's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. How old were you at this time?
Oh, I was 22.
Okay, so this is probably like either a coach or the Y.
Yeah, it was that coach.
It was like coach. Okay,
It was that coach.
and there we go. Don't. Oh yeah, that sounds about right because you can at the Y you can't you
Yeah,
can't you can't
you
you can't fool
can.
around, especially with
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
gotta do what's right for the kids. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
But
Well, there's those aunties though.
yeah,
But I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, man,
no. Oh, and quick question. Whenever I think about summer 2019, I always think about, hold up, let me pull up my Kalapana shirt here.
oh, oh,
Chasing Rainbows. I would not be, remiss if I didn't bring that up. Was that like, because I know during that time you had
yeah,
titles for
what
all of your
happened?
shoots. And that was like the
Yeah.
summary. That was like the song that kind of summarized that whole era.
Well, what happened? I think I think I had Pandora at that time,
Mm,
and then Kalapana came up with that track, and I was listening to it, and then I fell in love with it, and I was like, "Oh, this is a good title for it,"
hmm.
because it was like me trying to get her, but
Yep.
it was like I wasn't reaching.
Yep.
She was always moving back, like a
Hmm.
rainbow. Like you can never reach a rainbow.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Ooh, this is nice." And I saw Luna, I saw Kainalu, and ever since then, that song will just come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
play on Spotify or like at the records. Like I got one to
Yeah.
play at the records, and then or Luna would buy the shirt, or one of
Scott
us
has one.
would.
Scott has one too.
Scott has one too,
Hmm.
or we would like listen to a song and we would like shoot up in the group chat about Kalapana. And I'm like, this song is like reminding us like, don't get your head in the clouds.
No, that's one of the most heartbreaking songs I've ever heard in my life too.
Yeah,
Like
it's real sad.
it's a real sad song. It's like that song takes me back to our childhood. So
Mhm.
it's like, so shout out to Kalapana, man. Like it's roller coaster season, also known as Chasing Rainbow season.
Yeah, chasing rainbow is dang. It's
So
wild. So
so
wild.
good thing we're in winter 2025 and not summer 2019. You feel me? So once again, to those who listen and watch, thank you so much for listening to this episode and watching this episode of the ML Backstage podcast. Um, this is a highly anticipated episode for each of us. We were looking forward to this episode for a really long time. Um, the next Mars Luna single that's coming out for Final Voyage is a song called "With You," which is basic. I can't wait to get into that one. Basically, a song about high school friendships. So here we are. You know what I'm saying? And very sentimental song in the same way that Roller Coaster was. But yeah, that's gonna come out in April, April 4th. And if you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok actually, because I just got TikTok back at Luna B Joshua, uh, and Threads at Luna B Joshua as well. Kainalu, where can people follow
Oh,
you?
you can find me on my photography at Nalu Photography, or if you really like K-pop stuff, I'm always on Twitter and TikTok. And yeah, you guys know where to find me.
Hawaiian Oppa. I'll list those things in the description. And
Yep,
Holokahiki.
Oh, you guys can follow me on Instagram, Holokahiki Toves, or YouTube at Holokahiki Toves.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you so much for listening and watching again. Stay tuned for next month's episode. I will try to have a special guest on. So, as always, embrace your odyssey, embrace the strange, like Mars Luna says. Shoot.
oh my dude, can't even see it.
Boom.
Oh, not the soju. Not the soju. Get that out. Get that out.
No drinking today.
If there's anything to learn from this episode, Ethan, it's that someone who describes himself as dangerous, risky, and a liability is a red flag, Ethan. Red flag.
Nah, that's weak. I would find women like that at the club and bring one home for sure.
Cap, Ethan. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the ML Backstage podcast. If you liked what you heard, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to us on Apple and YouTube at ML Backstage. You can follow me on Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok at It's Mars Luna. You can find all my music on Spotify and Apple Music and on my website at itsmarsluna.com. Stream Roller Coaster on your favorite streaming platform this cosmic Casanova Day. So it looks like we will have a special guest next month, and we'll see you all on the next episode.